Good afternoon, everyone. David Paul speaking. Welcome. It's 1:30 UK time on the 15th of January. I'm looking at VectorVest USA, and I'm looking at a share that I've done well in several times called LULU. They make upmarket gym kit, yoga kit, and they've grown earnings per share enormously over the last year. So we're looking at the candlestick plot here, the pullback with the general market since the 5th of October. Earnings per share moving up the page very strongly over the last year. Earnings per share has virtually doubled in this little company. It's pulled back, in my opinion, to a very exciting level. It's pulled back in a flag pattern, which has been very good to me over the years. In the flag, I've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 waves in the flag. That's typical. And as you can see, the market's broken up through the top line, defining the flag over the last day or two. But it did that in a very interesting fashion because it actually broke, it then came back and kissed, and it gapped down and it gapped up again. This is called an island reversal. Very strong indeed. Moved up very strongly yesterday, came off its highs into the second half of the day as the general market, in fact, in the US got a little bit weaker. This little double bottom is also a very interesting level because for those of you that understand the Fibonacci sequence, we can see that those lows are in fact exactly a 62% retracement of this big range. As you can also probably see, I'll get rid of the fib now, the market has come down and taken out that very, very obvious level where there would have been a huddle of stops around that level. So the market sought out a source of liquidity down around there. Let's look at volume. Volume always interesting, folks, and we can see that as the market pushed up the page here in this last wave, volume rose, and as it pulled back, volume shrank, and as it broke out, volume rose again. So we're seeing price rising and volume rising, and that's a really, really good sign. I think that the probabilities favor this moving much higher, assuming the general market can, in fact, come to the party. In the US, the breadth of the market as measured on the VectorVest homepage is not very good. We've got 727 shares in a buy recommendation and a whopping 1,700 on a sell recommendation still. So the short-term trend is up, the underlying trend is up, but the breadth of the market really, really awful. And for that reason, our longer-term trend in the American market is still down. And VectorVest advocates caution when buying stocks at this time. So LULU, the fundamental position of the share looks good. It's making money and all the financial ratios are getting better. It's got a superb relative safety on VectorVest. Earnings per share and relative value is superb on VectorVest. It's pulled back to a very important support level. So the technical position and the fundamental position of the share looks excellent. I think the overall market is the only ambiguity. If the overall market can strengthen, then I think that LULU looks to me as if it wants to move up the page very strongly indeed. So what could we do here? So we take this off, I think that if it breaks this high, folks, with the stop loss down underneath these lows, let's blow that up. So somewhere up around here, stop loss under these lows a little bit. I can put on the VectorVest stop loss. The VectorVest stop loss is down at 124, and this automatically calculates a stop for us. And I think that's probably a really good place to have a stop. So somewhere down around there at 124, a VectorVest stop loss. So calculate the number of shares to buy. so that 1% of your account will disappear if in fact we're incorrect. It looks a really good opportunity, assuming the general market can get up and maintain these levels. I hope that illustrates how we go about finding swing trades using the vector-based product, putting together the fundamental position of a company with the technical position of a company with the technical position of the overall market, and the ambiguity at the moment still lies with the overall market. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.